Hello and welcome back to TNWKS, the Now We Know show, the show where we discuss a topic of interest and by the end we will have learnt something new and hopefully you will too. I'm Zak.
I'm Buzz, and today, yes, we have Indiana June back
in the studio.
Yeah,
Hi
to take us on another trip from her world of adventures.
Oh yes.
And this week we are going to find out all about Japan.
If you enjoy the Now We Know show podcast, support Zak Wylde Productions on Patreon or join our members on YouTube for early access, ad-free content and exclusive episodes. So we're back in the... What studio is this again?
Well, technically this is not a studio. It's the...
it's a department.
It's the Zak Wylde Productions costume department. Yeah. And it's where all the props for our film productions end up, isn't it? So
yeah, it's quite a interesting place. Yes,
yeah, there's all sorts of different props from lots of different shows and things that we've recorded and films that we are recording.
And I can see two Daleks.
They're over there.
The two full-size Daleks.
Derek and Clive.
Yeah, the full-size Daleks.
Now I wonder if they'll ever make an appearance.
They might.
Who
Make
knows?
That would be really cool. Imagine sitting in a Dalek and doing a podcast.
Well, there you go.
Podcast of the Daleks.
Podcast of the Daleks. Well, I've got to say
writes itself.
They haven't used that title yet. They've used everything else of the Daleks. So Podcast of the Daleks. I will probably find somebody who'll comment and say, yes, they already have. But there you go. Anyway, yeah, we've got June back in the studio. Welcome back, June. And it's really nice to, obviously, for those people that are not listening to the audio podcast but are actually watching on YouTube, they actually get to see you for the first time.
Oh, my goodness me.
In all your glory.
Not too frightening.
Give them a wave.
Give 'em a wave.
Hello, everybody.
I see you've got lots of lovely notes there because you're going to take us on your adventure off to Japan.
Yes.
But first, we have our weekly spot known as
Weird and Wonderful.
And I believe you've brought a story in this
I have brought in a story.
It was Chaz last time on the last podcast.
Okay.
This time it's your turn.
Here it is. Here's the title.
Okay.
Joey Chestnut,
Joey Chestnut,
16-time hot dog eating champion, has been banned from the event for signing a deal with a vegan company.
Oh dear. So go on, tell us more.
So his nickname is Joey Jaws Chestnut.
Joey Jaws.
And he has
This
won
gets better.
the hot dog eating championships 6 times.
Six
Goodness
times.
me.
But this year he has been banned for signing a deal with Impossible Foods, which is a vegan company.
Right, so they're a vegan meat company or something, I think.
Probably,
Yeah,
yes.
so he signed up. He signed up with. Well, okay, and that's obviously meant that he's not been able to do his sausage eating.
So in 2021,
Yep.
he ate a massive 76 hot dogs
I'm
and buns
And the buns as well.
in 10 minutes.
Wow. I mean, not being
It's
funny.
a wonder he's not sick.
No, yeah. Well, maybe that's why he's decided to go vegan. I don't. But I've got to compare that to we were filming on Saturday, weren't we?
We were.
And after we filmed, we had all the crew and everything got together, and we had hot dogs.
Literally,
I-
we thought that was a huge amount.
Yes, it-
That- imagine eating every single one of those hot dogs that we had on that day. For one person in 10 minutes.
No, I think I had.
Are you sure he's
I think-
human?
I think I because they were serving 2 hot dogs in one roll,
Yeah.
and I had 2 of those. So ergo, I ate 4 hot dogs in 2 rolls.
Yeah.
And then the host forced me politely, but said, "You're going to eat some more." And so I had to force down another 2 hot dogs and another bun. So I had 3 buns and 6 hot dogs, and I was done.
And then you were given cake.
And then I was
Oh,
given
no.
cake,
You weren't
which I
asked.
don't normally eat cake, funny enough, but yeah, cake. And it was like, whoa! And then you're saying, and that was 6 hot dogs, and he ate 74 in 10 minutes.
I think it was 76.
76.
Jesus.
What size is he, for goodness
What?
sake?
He didn't look too big, to be honest, from the picture.
Joey Jaws Chestnut, bless him. what a guy, you know. Well, I think there's a little lady. I don't know if she's Chinese, Japanese, or something that does the eat eating competitions.
Isn't it called a mukbang challenge?
And she's tiny and she like eats so much. And you think, where does it go?
Yeah, where is this metabolism?
He has hollow legs,
Yeah,
as my mother
certainly.
used to say.
Yeah, well, there you go. So anyway, so that is pretty weird and wonderful.
Yeah,
But
I
poor old Joey Jaws Chestnut is going to miss out this
could
year.
not imagine
He
eating
can't win
that
any
many.
more championships.
Well,
if
unless
he's
he
eating
maybe like
vegan.
cancels that deal, I don't know.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll find out. in the future.
So I suppose the thing is, though, if he goes back to do the competition again, because he's out of the contract with a vegan company, it doesn't really hold well with being vegan, does it?
No.
You say,
No.
right, that's it. I've eaten tons and tons of processed meat. Now I'm going vegan for this product or whatever. But I want to go back and do this.
But maybe that's the thing. It maybe this signing is meaning that he doesn't then have to like hold his title again. Maybe
Maybe
the
he's
big
gonna have
the big title is he's gone vegan.
Okay, see
don't know.
how many vegan sausages Joey Jaws Chestnut can
I mean,
eat.
to be honest, he would win that championship because I don't know
I
many
don't
people.
think
that
it eats 74 plus buns. Anyway, right, so we're off on an adventure with you, June, and we've gone on several adventures with you over the time.
Yes.
And this time, you've mentioned this on several podcasts that you were going to do this. We are being taken on a journey to the Far East,
Yes,
and we're heading off to Japan.
we are.
So, in the world of Indiana June, it has to be said, why did you decide? What was it that made you think, I want to go to Japan?
Well, we used to have a free newspaper, and one day it said there is a holiday to Japan for a taster holiday.
A taster holiday,
Yes.
okay.
Normally I would go on a 3-week holiday,
Right.
but this was a shorter one.
Okay.
And I happened to mention it to you, and Zak was between 3 and 4, I imagine.
Ah, wee Zak.
A wee Zak.
It was
A
the
wee
small
Zak.
Zak.
Tiny Zach
And
Yes.
I think his daddy said to me, "That's where Godzilla lives, you know."
is
Oh.
twinge.
Gra-
Don't know if you can see on the T-shirt, but it says "My Godzilla is my spirit animal."
yes. So Zak said to Granny, "If you go, can you get me a Godzilla?"
Right.
And then I mentioned it to my eldest daughter, Julia, and she said, "I've always wanted to go to Japan." So I decided I would take her.
Right, so it was two of you going on this trip.
Yes. Normally I just go on my own, but
Yes,
I thought she wanted to go. And my mission was to get Godzilla, if possible.
Right.
The mission.
The mission.
The
Actually,
mission.
that could be like a whole story in its own. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Godzilla.
Or Mission Godzilla.
Zilla.
I'm tempted to put that in the podcast title.
Missionzilla.
Yeah.
Yes. We have, I don't know if you noticed, June, but we have got a giant Godzilla sitting right behind you there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
from the 2014 movie. He is massive.
Yeah.
But Zak still has, although we won't get onto it yet, but I did come back.
Well, we'll find out.
We
We'll
might
find
have
out.
another
Later
special
on.
guest to make an appearance in this podcast.
Yes.
Who knows?
So anyway, so you got
I
you
got
booked the
booked
trip.
up for the trip, which was sort of the beginning, just as the end of the cherry blossom was finishing. But
Because Japan is very famous for
yes,
the cherry
it's-
blossoms.
everybody wants to go to the cherry blossom and look at it because it's beautiful. But this included Children's Day, which is beginning of May, so we still had a little bit of cherry blossom there. So off we went,
Okay.
and it was a night flight
Okay, so off you went. Night flight. Where did you fly from?
from London.
Okay, so that was London Heathrow.
I think so. I can't.
And now,
This was over 20 years ago.
no, but these details won't be important. The point is, did you fly direct or did you have any
we
stop-offs?
went to Tokyo.
Right, so it was
Wow.
a direct flight to
Yes.
Tokyo. So Heathrow to Tokyo non-stop.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's some distance.
so that's
how-
literally the other side of the planet
So
we're talking.
how
I mean,
long
it
were
used
you
to
on the
take
plane?
10 hours to go to China. I can't remember how long. It was very tedious.
But you didn't. Honestly, you didn't stop off.
No, we
it was
didn't
a direct
stop
flight.
anywhere. No.
I find that amazing that these planes can hold that amount of fuel
Yeah.
Yeah,
to go
That
to the other
distance.
side of the world in
Yeah.
just one flight.
that's crazy.
That is
Well,
crazy.
going to New Zealand, we came down in America when I went there, just for refueling.
Yeah, I was
but
going to say
no,
refueling.
No. we went there.
I bet while you're all snoozing, the old pilot's having a snooze as well.
Did try not to think about that.
Did you know which way around the planet you went?
No, I don't.
So, actually, interesting thing.
I'm nearly 89. Try and remember what happened over 20 years ago.
On one trip.
It's bad enough.
After doing so many.
What did I do yesterday?
Oh.
So it's interesting you say that, because you always look at a map of the world.
Yeah.
You know, the globe laid out
Yeah.
flat earthers. And you sort of, oh, do you go left? Do you go right?
Yeah.
No, of course you don't fly over the top
No.
or underneath. It's because
Who knows?
It's because of the cold air, you see.
You get,
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know.
I was worried there you were going to go into the flat Earth again.
No,
Oh,
no,
God,
I'm not
no.
doing the flat earth. Anyway, so you got to Japan, landed in Tokyo.
Well, we ended up having breakfast on the plane, which was soba, S-O-B-A, noodles,
Soba noodles.
which tasted, I thought, was disgusting, and I couldn't eat them. So then Julia was still dying to have a cigarette.
Yeah, well, yes, she
But
does smoke.
We were very heavy. Well, she's onto the vaping now, but you had to queue up to get your suitcases, then go and get on the coach, then drive to the hotel. By this time, she was nearly going to strangle me. And
I take it, obviously, no smoking on the plane.
no smoking on the plane,
she,
of course.
She chewed off all her fingernails by this
Maybe that's just how to stop becoming a smoker.
Yeah, if you
just
if you
go
want-
on long haul trips.
If you want to stop smoking, go on a long haul flight to Japan.
Yeah, don't buy
Couldn't
into any of
smoke
these.
on
other
the
things.
coach. Got to the hotel. Got to the room. It was a non-smoking room. She went mad. I managed to get through to the
Reception. Oh, no.
and they did speak English. And I explained that we really needed a non-smoking,
That is quite
a
funny.
smoking room. And we
Meanwhile,
got.
Julia's going,
She-
get me a
Get-
smoking room
I need a cigarette. I haven't had one since we got on the plane.
back in the UK.
Yeah.
I have travelled so many time zones.
That's it.
This is why I travel on my own.
Right.
But we got a smoking room.
Right, got,
Thank goodness.
and then she relaxed.
I mean, for your own personal welfare, you're glad you got a smoking room.
Yes. She had a cigarette and calmed down somewhat. Then we thought, we'll do a bit of unpacking.
Okay.
Opened the cases, whatever. Oh dear.
Oh dear, what's gone wrong? You got
My
bags missing?
underwear bag
Okay.
is not in my case.
Somebody's stolen your underwear?
No. And then I remember it's still on my bed at home.
Oh right. So
On the
I-
other side
of
of
the
Earth.
world.
I have one pair of pants on.
Okay. And no
more.
other knickers.
No other
Oh.
knickers. And
Travel troubles with.
Yes.
also, the hotel did not provide food
Okay.
unless you went downstairs to a restaurant. But we had arrived in the morning. We didn't eat the soba noodles on the plane. So we found there was a restaurant across the road.
Okay.
We thought we won't be able to read the menu. But the brilliant thing, they have plastic plates with all the food on it and a number. So all you have to do when you're sitting down is say number so and so. There's sausages, eggs, or whatever.
Okay. So they put food on plates, or at least pretend
It's
food.
all on display, and all you've got to do is look at the plate, see what you want to eat,
Just order
and
that.
just order that number, which I thought was wonderful.
Well, hey.
So we used to get our breakfast there every day, because we weren't going out till the afternoon.
What food did you eat there?
Well, for breakfast we sort of had sausages, eggs, and tomatoes and things.
Huh.
Okay.
Oh, you wouldn't really expect
See,
that.
I kind of
Well,
like.
no.
Foreign food.
I'd feel I would be hitting the. I want to try the Japan
While
you know,
we were going
Japanese
out each day,
Delicacies,
breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we're still carrying on the first day,
Okay,
but we managed to find a shop that sold underwear and different things. And two little girls, well, they looked at about 12, were behind the counter, but I presume they must be adults. And I'm trying to explain, I want larger lady knickers.
Large.
And
I
they're-
need large pants.
Yeah.
I need
Well,
Bridget. What was it? Bridget, what was that film?
But yeah, Bridget.
Oh, I can't think
I
of what
don't.
they-
I don't.
Gotta
have
describe it.
Oh, I don't know. What was it?
Bridget Jones. And
Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
okay.
had
I
big-
haven't seen
She
those,
had
and I
big
don't
pants in
particularly
that.
want
So
to.
you're on the hunt for big pants.
Well, I'm not that big.
So, hang on, am I going to have to change this podcast title to Mission Pants?
Yeah.
Well, as well
Mission
as-
knickers.
Knicker
they were-
Mission.
they
That
were-
sounds a bit dodgy.
They were
It really
hiding
does.
behind their
Mission
hands and
big
giggling.
knickers.
Let's move on.
Eventually, I got through to, and I did manage to buy some little silk pants.
Oh
They
yeah,
were
little.
more bikini.
Maybe it
size
is
than
that kind
anything.
of dodgy thing we were
Oh
talking about.
no! I just imagine you
Well,
in
so I
little
managed to
bikini
buy-
silk knickers now.
Yeah.
I
Do you
don't
want-
want
don't
that image.
imagine it.
I don't want that in my head.
Anyway,
You've painted this image now.
we-
I'm safer with the big pants.
no, they were just giggling behind their hands,
We
but
were
we
giggling.
did
Ah,
get,
she want big pants.
Big pants.
Big pants.
I did manage to get
It's like a
some.
scene out of.
So we've had
what's it called?
breakfast.
In between us.
In between
And
us.
we
Almost.
found some silk pants, so I didn't have to wash out my pants every night, ready for the morning.
So you got loads of pants.
And then we managed to get on the coach, and we did a tour round Tokyo,
Okay.
visiting different places, and we went to the Meiji Shrine, which happened to be, it was the Children's Day,
Okay.
and all children between 3 and 5, all dressed in their national dress, all wandering around the Meiji Shrine.
What is the national dress like at that time?
Is it sort of kimonos or something?
Well, the girls and whatever have little kimonos, and the boys have got different coloured.
Wow, so really
trousers.
traditional.
Real traditional.
So I always
stuff.
find that's the odd thing about the UK. Literally
We-
every country has its national dress, but
Ours is
England
more
doesn't.
I mean-
I say the UK, but I mean
headscarf and
Scotland.
Macintosh
Yeah.
and Wellington.
Well, I say that, but I mean Scotland does.
Yeah,
Welsh
the
kilt,
kilt.
and the same with Ireland. They
Yeah.
wear kilts as well.
Yeah.
And Welsh, they
Yeah.
have the bonnets, don't they?
Yeah.
And everything. And England, nothing.
I don't know.
Wellington's Macintosh and headscarf.
Tracksuits.
Yeah.
Tracksuits and
But
hoodies.
when you consider
Go England.
when you consider the history of England, and you sort of like think from sort of Celtic through to
Well, yeah,
early
Roman
medieval,
togas
late
and different
medieval,
things.
Tudor period, Jacobean,
Well, more of
Victorian.
those
You kind of
times.
think
Rich.
you got
rich,
to
like,
kind of
costumage.
choose a costume
Yeah,
out of that.
all depending on who's king or queen or
Exactly.
whatever.
What was in fashion at the time?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, so if you took, for example, the national dress of, say, Holland, which they have like the big baggy trousers and clogs
Yeah.
and things like that, it's only out of one period of time that national
Oh, yeah.
dress comes from, because
It-
obviously in Holland, in the Netherlands, at one time it would have been sort of Viking dress and everything
Yeah.
else, and like in the Danes and everything. So
It's
Denmark.
nearly only Scotland and
Yeah.
Ireland that
So you-
have got.
I wish they would centre on one English period and say that's our national dress.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I'd like that.
Which would you choose?
Ooh. Well,
Would you go for the Tudor flash heart?
ha
Ha! I am.
Woof!
That's it.
That's a Blackadder reference,
Blackadder
by the way.
reference.
We're not mad.
Here's it. What about you, June? Which one would you go for? From a lady's perspective, of course.
Well, nothing with very tight corsets.
So you're not going to
I
go
don't
for the late Victorian
Oh, God,
corset,
no.
or would
I
you go
don't
for?
know.
Would you go for the sort of the Edwardian? Because they have
No,
the.
that's corsets again.
What was the one where they have the Georgian, where they just have the very long dresses that come
Well,
down,
that looked a bit more comfortable.
a bit
but,
more comfortable?
That said,
Or you go World War Two, sort of,
well, I was born into World War II.
if you haven't listened to that podcast, go listen to
There
it.
you go. You could just have like standard, kind of, that kind of wartime look with the curly hair and all the rest of it.
No, mine was straight.
Okay, all right.
There is a thing behind that. I did have curly hair. Then I got lost the night before holiday, which is in one way or the port.
Oh yes.
And then I was found with a pair of scissors and a first urchin cut.
Oh, you cut all your hair off
Yes,
just for the
just
fun
for
of
the fun of it.
it. Okay,
yeah.
you haven't asked me the question.
Oh, okay, all right, Buzz.
If
What
we
would
had a national
dress? What would you wear?
a bandana.
That's just a you dress.
That's just me. It keeps my head warm.
I thought we were talking about Japan.
I like Anglo-Saxon.
Anglo-Saxon. I was going to go that.
I would go Viking because obviously the Vikings had the Danelaw in the UK. In England, we had the Danelaw, but that's technically Scandinavian and Danish Viking. So I'll probably go Anglo-Saxon.
I was going to go medieval knight, but just practically to wear that every day
But
would
if
be
you
a
were
bit
a
much.
peasant, you just have a loose top. And
I don't want to be a peasant.
Just, so nice baggy trousers,
Maybe
tunic,
like a fur
Something
cloak or
comfortable.
something.
cloak.
Oh,
Tell you
yes.
whatever it is, it's got to have a cloak.
Bring back the cloak.
Bring back
Bring
the
back
cloak.
cloak.
Yes.
Okay, so we're
going back to
we're going
Japan
back to Japan.
Skipping time periods.
Okay, back to Japan.
Back to Japan.
So the kids are all in their national dress on Children's Day.
Yeah,
So tell us about the shrine.
at the
Yes.
Meiji Shrine.
What is the Meiji Shrine?
Well, it's
A shrine.
really a big what do you call them?
Temple?
Temple.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what did this temple look like?
Oh, and what were people worshipping it?
Well,
Yeah, if you go off to
You-
Thailand or
you-
somewhere, you'd imagine you'd be worshipping,
you can
say,
go
Buddha.
in and wiggle the prayer wheels round or
Oh, right.
whatever, and
Do the old golden child.
I probably wouldn't allow that now.
No,
And
it
we-
was funny at the time.
It's
wasn't it?
extremely funny.
we saw that anyway.
I've
then,
come.
then we saw the Emperor's Palace,
Please.
Please.
and we went in and we spun the prayer wheels.
Oh, you did a lot of prayer wheel spinning.
Well, I have done in Tibet and all over the place. Yes.
Does it help?
Well, I'm still 88. I'm still going.
You are.
There
I'm
you
still
go.
breathing. Who knows? Who knows?
Probably outlived a lot of us.
Yeah. So anyway, we stopped, and the lady with the pink umbrella said, "Stick together, stick together."
Oh, was it the guide?
The guide. Sticky rice, sticky rice.
Sticky rice.
Now we go to lunch. Get off the bus here, go down the road, cross over, go into that hotel, into the lift, go upstairs to the restaurant, and there will be some sushi.
Oh, I
Stick
like
together,
sushi.
sticky rice.
Hang on. So is this
Hang on,
kind of? Is she telling you to be like sticky
Sticky
rice?
Yes, we must all stick together so we don't get lost.
Because I was confused there
thought
about
you
whether
were
or
being
not the
said
sticky rice was
that's
what you were going to
get
eat.
for dinner.
No. So we all had to get off the coach, go down the road, cross the road,
Up
go
the
into
lift.
the hotel,
Up the
into the lift, up to
the
the restaurant,
restaurant.
grab some
Sushi.
and be back in the hour.
In the hour, 1 hour.
How on earth are you supposed to remember all this?
Well,
Well, you
we follow
Yeah, it's not 30 years later.
There you go.
There you go.
follow the yellow brick road.
Oh,
Anyway, there
what was the sushi like?
I didn't get any.
Oh.
Julia
What?
got some. And there were a few other bits and pieces you could have. It wasn't sushi, but most of the crowd off the bus, I mean, there was 50 odd people there,
They hoovered
grabbed
it
the
up.
sushi and they hoovered it.
Over the sushi.
Good grief.
So, they-
Honestly.
I do love a bit of sushi, don't you?
Now,
Well, I've not had-
maybe
Yep.
taste test of sushi.
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 I wouldn't want to eat
No.
a sushi.
Don't get it wrong. You never know what you might end up with. Yeah, so a sushi taste
Test. Yes.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Subject for another podcast.
Exactly.
So who knows? Anyway, we went saw some other things as we went round, and I say we did the sprayer wheel, and then, of course, we find some of the streets are non-smoking streets as well.
Hey,
Yes.
that's good.
Can we have that
it
here?
wasn't.
Can we have that here? Because I absolutely detest walking down the high street behind somebody who's smoking. Well, it gives you like you sort of have to hold your
Plume.
breath,
Or people
hold your breath,
send-
and run past them.
Send you presents, and you open the present, and you can smell that they're a smoker.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
So-
Well, there you go.
Anyway,
Don't smoke.
Don't smoke.
so we just did a bit of a
Enjoy your life.
Go to Japan.
We drove round Tokyo and looked at different places, and we went to Nara Park,
Nara Park.
which is on the coach, and we saw the great Buddha, who is 15 metres high,
Whoa.
15
and
metres.
he's gilt and bronze.
That's a heavy Buddha.
What,
Yeah.
45 feet tall?
Well, I don't know what 15.
15 metres.
Well,
a
metres,
metre is three.
just over 3
Three.
feet.
Yeah,
three
so
times
it's quite
50.
big.
That's bigger than like 2004 King Kong.
Yeah.
There you go. Actually, I do believe that they have a. I don't know what the actual building is in, I believe it's in Tokyo, but they've actually got a building with Godzilla's head sticking out the top of it.
That's the Godzilla Hotel.
It's a hotel, is it? And it
I haven't
blows
seen that.
smoke, like lit up smoke out of its mouth.
So is this the one where the head of Godzilla is on the building?
Yeah, and he's got.
Or is it
also-
the one where it's inside?
No, it's on the top of the building.
Okay.
And it's got like a claw as if it's breaking out of the building or
Yeah.
coming through the building.
Yeah, that's the
And
Godzilla Hotel.
I've seen the video of it
didn't
blowing
see
smoke
that.
out.
Well, I was going to ask, did you know whether or not the Godzilla Hotel
Yeah, I've
was
no idea.
around at that point?
No, I
Because
don't
I
think
imagine
so.
this is kind of like
If it wasn't on our.
it's between
on our-
the Heisei and Millennium series of Godzilla films, so I imagine there was still a massive following. At that
I would
Yeah.
have thought at that time you still had a lot of people who
Yeah,
followed
I'd
Godzilla
not heard of it.
in Japan, obviously,
Yeah.
but in the West, I don't. When you were a kid, even when you were a kid, I used to watch Godzilla when I was a kid, but it was just some odd films that would turn up
Yeah.
on TV.
You lucky
Yeah,
person.
I know they don't really broadcast them now, but they used to put them on the TV, and it was quite amazing to see this massive monster, which obviously now we know is a kaiju, walking about and having these massive battles and stomping on tanks and things. It was great. But I don't know if it had a great appeal in the West. So
Because it's kind of, I know a lot of them are kind of a bit out there
Yeah.
conceptual wise.
But obviously, in recent years, the appeal for Godzilla has really
rocketed.
Yeah.
you know.
And Godzilla is probably the most popular it's ever been, which is fantastic.
Yep.
What film do you remember actually seeing
Oh,
on the
when
TV?
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I remember.
I don't think I've ever really asked you this question.
So when I first started seeing Godzilla,
Because I'm
it
a
would have been-
Godzilla fanatic. Like,
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean,
I might be able to identify it if you
it
can
was
give me some
prob-
clues.
May
probably
even say where else I
the-
went in Japan.
yeah, you will. Sorry, but it's all part of the conversation. So I would have probably thought that it would have been Godzilla, and you can tell me if the correct titles for it.
Yep.
It would have been Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Okay.
Okay. I remember seeing Godzilla versus King Kong.
Okay.
And I remember one always stuck out in my mind, which was the one where Godzilla has kind of like a tennis match with Ibra, the lobster. And,
Ibra Horror from the Deep.
right, so that would be that. So I remember that one. Is that one that's also got the giant spider on the island?
No, that's Son of Godzilla.
Right. Yeah, because it would have had.
They came out one after another.
Yeah. So I would have seen that one as well. So there you go.
That's it.
But they don't put them on TV now, do
Oh man, like the only like official way of getting these older Godzilla films in the UK is via the Criterion Collection, which you thankfully got me.
they? Yeah, I did.
Thank you
'Cause
very
I'm,
much.
I'm a good.
You're an amazing person. 15 Godzilla films, massive box set.
Anyway, back to Japan.
Anyway, we're still touring around Tokyo.
Okay, is this still day one? Is it?
This is still day one.
Wow.
And we called it the Magi Shrine. And there's all barrels piled up on top
So it's
of
like
these.
wine barrels.
And the guy I don't know who donates them, but every year they're given a barrel of sake,
Oh, rice wine.
rice wine. And they're,
Is that what that is?
Yes.
yeah.
Now
it's-
you know, show.
It's
And
kind.
it's
I
all-
say it's called rice wine, but it's kind of basically sake is like vodka, isn't it? It's an alcohol.
You usually
It's,
get
it's
it
a
warm.
spirit. It's a
Yeah.
spirit rather than a wine.
It's the national drink.
Yeah. So
But
it's,
there was
Do we
just
have a national drink?
like a
National
whole
drink.
wall of it. You know, barrels. I don't know what they do with it. How long?
Do they
it-
drink it?
Well, I don't know.
They just let it age?
I think
Is it like
it's-
whiskey where it kind of goes up in
Either way.
value?
whiskey, Scottish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. but
English,
There were just
warm
rows
beer.
and rows of these barrels of sake.
Yep.
And they get done.
Cider. That's it.
Cider.
Cider.
That's Somerset.
Yeah, but it's still
Anyway,
England.
So we saw that.
There we go.
Lots of people coming round looking at the shrine, ladies and gentlemen and children, all dressed up because it's Children's Day there as
Yep.
well. And yeah, all these little houses and different things. We saw a tea house, and just people, we're just touring around. Sticky rice, keep going,
Okay.
keep going. We're going to get on the coach again
Okay.
to somewhere else. And then got taken home eventually because we'd had quite a long.
That sounds like a very busy day.
It was very
Action-packed,
busy.
non-stop.
Sticky
It was-
rice, sticky rice.
Yes.
Hurry, hurry.
Hurry, hurry! Follow the pink balloon. Oh, not the pink balloon. You know, the
Pink umbrella.
Pink umbrella.
Sounds like you got
It was-
Hagrid in front of you.
Yeah. So anyway, we had to find somewhere else to get to eat in the evening. Which we probably went back. Julia said it was called Jonathan's, but I don't remember. But
That's a funny name.
I was for a Japanese restaurant. Let's go to Jonathan's.
we just did, and I said by the end of the holiday, I will take you down into the basement and we will have a proper meal. Which
What, they served food in the basement?
Well, it was a restaurant
Oh,
down
right.
there. We didn't
it's
have,
like
normally
restaurant
when you go
in the
on holiday,
The
you
special
provide.
restaurant.
The
Yeah.
under restaurant.
Normally, when you go on holiday, you have breakfast.
Yep.
Then you go, especially in China, you have breakfast. You go sightseeing. You have lunch. You go sightseeing. You have an evening meal. You may go to the theatre. You go home. This one, there was no food provided except while you were out, you might get sushi if you got there first.
Right.
Yeah, it's every man for himself.
Fight them for the sushi.
Yeah.
That's it.
So anyway, we went home. The next day, they decided we were going to go to Kyoto
Ooh, Kyoto.
on the bullet train.
Nice.
Fast and Furious.
It's
Yeah.
very, very
That's
fast.
it.
So we had to get on the coach and get off to the railway station. Stand there, which is what happens when you go to Paris. You stay there, and the train will pull up in front of you, and you get on that door. While we're waiting, this little lady came down the stairs
Right.
wearing a fuchsia pink suit with a little forage cap on. Came down, and I thought that's a bit bright. It looked like an Oompa Loompa. Anybody has seen Charlie
Charlie
and
Charlie.
the Chocolate
Well,
Factory?
she was tiny.
She was tiny, about 4 foot tall, if she was that. And she went under the stairs. There was a little door. She opened the door and went in. Well, a few minutes later, a train pulled on. It wasn't ours. The door opened, and about 6 of them all came out and got on the train. I think they must have been train, attendants for going on. And they all marched off, and the door shut. And then our train came in exactly in front of us, on you go, and whizzed off.
Well, that
right.
must have made you feel tall.
Yeah,
Yes.
how small were they?
Well, when we got to Mount Fuji, when we got there, but I say we weren't at Mount Fuji first of all. We just went round Kyoto, and what did we do? We saw Mount Fuji, but we
Did it have
couldn't
snow on the top? As you see
No.
it depicted?
we had to go on cable cars for a ride round some posh gardens and things, and then got on a coach. But we couldn't go to the top of Mount Fuji because the clouds were right down,
Right.
and the security guards had got us line across. It was too dangerous to go up there. But
It was all a front. It was because Godzilla was up there again.
well, it
That's
may
what I'm
well
gonna
have
say.
been.
Okay.
But there was quite a few buildings up there, and we went into one, and they were selling miso soup. It was mushroom soup, and I bought some, and Julia bought some, and it was really delicious. But sitting outside, I talked to this little lady who, she wasn't much bigger than that.
The mic stand.
The mic stand.
Wow.
I think,
That is
she was
Incredibly
quite round,
small.
but she said it's, if you look at the children when you see them, some of them could be nearly 6 foot tall because modern day they've been eating meat.
They've gone for a Western.
Instead
style.
of
Kind of influence.
just rice and a bit of fish or whatever.
Right. So
But now
so
they've got to
their,
have bigger houses.
their dietary.
The-
Their diets have
the children,
changed,
yeah.
and now they're all starting to rocket.
Yeah, they were rockets. You could see the difference when the children came out of school. They're big.
Right.
I'm just imagining really tiny samurai now.
Yeah, well, I
Very
think there
big.
must have been bigger samurai or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
she could speak good English, and she was talking to us about different things, and she said, you will see the difference in the children, and you do. But I've never managed to buy any of this in England since the miso soup. I would love to get some.
Right, we're on a mission then. We've got to see if we can find Indiana June some miso soup.
Yes.
If we can say it right.
If we can,
miso soup.
Miso.
Yeah.
See if we can pronounce it. It's basically Japanese mushroom soup. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes.
Just get some from Sainsbury's.
Have they got them there?
It's
Five.
just mushroom soup.
There
isn't it?
are other
there were
stores available.
Five-story pagodas and things
Right.
up
Oh,
there. We saw,
nice.
and we
So
saw,
the only time I ever get to see Japanese pagodas is when Godzilla's smashing them to
Boom.
pieces.
yeah. But anyway, we also saw the Shogun's Palace as
Oh,
well as
nice.
the Emperor's Palace.
Shogun.
You couldn't go near the Emperor's Palace because he was in,
Right.
so you could just look through the gates. But the Shogun's Palace, we could go round some of it, and it got a special. It was the capital in 1868, but it wasn't then. Anyway, we could go in it. We had to take our shoes off. They got what they call the Nightingale floor.
Okay.
It was only round where the bedrooms were. As you walked on it, it squeaked. It was to deter assassins.
Ah,
You
so
couldn't walk anywhere near the bedrooms without the floors squeaking.
they'd actually made a particular special floor that
Yeah,
squeaked on purpose.
all round. It was called the Nightingale floor.
That's clever.
Ah.
So yes, so that was to deter.
Well, you know how mad
So-
I am about home security.
yeah.
Squeaky
I'm
floors.
going to make
Well,
let's
this
go
is
have
it.
squeaky floors next.
Oh, I mean, if you have ever watched Shogun, it was, assassins try creeping in and whatever. Well, this was to deter them. It was only in the bedroom section where people slept, but you couldn't walk on the floor anywhere without it making squeaky noises.
I wonder if there was a secret pattern
Step,
step.
Well, I suppose people who live there might do, yeah.
Yeah, to
Or
get
just
across without.
wire kung fu. You have to fly across.
Oh yeah.
With a kite. Pretend to be a kite.
Kung fu is Chinese.
Yes.
All right, karate.
Well,
Ninjutsu.
Ninjutsu. There you go.
Anyway, another day we were still going around Kyoto and we saw geishas coming out of a geisha
we saw.
house.
Were they dressed
In
traditionally?
their proper
Oh,
thing.
right,
And,
so-
and
What
Julie
is
said,
this?
I don't know how they
Can I-
managed to walk in these wooden sort
Can
of...
I jump in there, June?
Yes.
You're going to have to explain to young Zak.
I am very young.
What a geisha girl is.
Well, it's not a prostitute. A lot of people...
Not a prostitute. Okay.
No, a lot of people think, oh, geishas are... They're not there. It takes years training. They sing to you. They serve you tea. And all. They're like hostesses, but no hanky-panky.
There you go.
Okay.
So you,
Now I know.
Now
Yeah.
you can
First-
sit there. They will sing or play music to you. It's very expensive to have a geisha, or if you're having a sort of
Not a
party.
prostitute.
I didn't say they
No,
were, did
but
I?
that's what the popular idea is. No,
See,
you
now
have-
you know.
Show.
have
you go.
lots
now
of
we
training.
know. Now we know.
Well, now you know, because young girls are perhaps accepted. You have to be accepted, and then trained. So you know how the hair is done, and the kimonos, and all the different. But they are there to be a hostess. You're very honoured if you get invited to a party or anybody, or perhaps just somebody's birthday or something like this, and they will come and play traditional music and sing and serve you tea, and it's a great honour if somebody does this for you.
Ah, fascinating.
It is fascinating. It takes years of training to become a geisha, and they were trotting out in these quite high wooden sandal sort of things, so they didn't get into the mud. And Julie said, I don't know how they managed to walk in there, but it takes years of training. And the popular thing when people thought about going to Japan, oh, they're all prostitutes. No, they're not. We don't have any hanky-panky, evidently. Yeah, well, unless I suppose...
We don't have to go into details on the hanky
We're
spectrum.
not going to follow the hanky-panky
No,
side of things.
but that's what it is. It's
Yeah. Well, that's really
it's
interesting.
special if you have going to tea or because the tea ceremony is
Oh, very important.
it's
Japan.
very important.
Tea ceremony.
Yeah, tea
Yeah.
ceremony.
Well,
Is there a special
Yes, everything has
It's
to
very
be.
formal?
There's
Very-
special bowls
The
that you
amount of
have.
time you turn the cups
Yes,
and all sorts.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That detailed?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's hot water.
Wow.
There's powdered tea, and you have to beat it with a
How many
little brush. and
times you stir it and turn the cup and all
it
sorts
must
of things.
only be facing the right way. And what? Oh yes, it's a great. And these geishas are trained
Now-
in that.
Everything has to be done precisely.
Because I know Japan kind of, especially feudal Japan, had a lot of like very kind of very official ways of doing things, and if you didn't do something in the correct way, then that was very
Yeah.
like you could be punished for that.
Well, see, I forget where it is.
Like, I
But
hope that wasn't
There's some
like
places
that
in the
at
East
this
you're
point.
not supposed to blow your nose. That's very rude. Other places you're not supposed to show the soles of your feet.
Like when walking, or
No,
like
well, if you're sitting down. I mean, I shouldn't
Like-
be
like
doing
that.
that. Yeah, it's very.
you rebel.
You
yes.
rebel mother.
So, I can't think where it is. Korea, I believe it is. You're not supposed to blow your nose, and because that's
But
rude.
what if you need to blow your nose?
Well, I suppose you better
Maybe
go like that.
maybe you have to go out.
I don't know.
Maybe you have to kind of like scream and pretend like ah.
No,
Sounds like
say
Tina.
the tea ceremony.
Sounds like oh yeah.
So if you engaged, what do I call it? What did I just say? A geisha.
Yeah.
You know, it may be like for a special birthday, and they would do the tea ceremony for it, and you would think this is really wonderful because people would have to pay an awful lot of money because some of them are very famous and they've been trained for
There
years.
you go. We've learnt a lot about geishas.
Yeah.
So, yes. So they came, a couple of them came trotting out of the front door, all dressed in their proper uniform because it's kimonos and it's got big sashes and all sorts of. They have probably wigs. A lot of them it used to be their own hair, but and the special makeup and whatever. But you're very privileged if you actually get asked to see or if you do that, because that is one of the biggest treats that you could get. So it may be sake that they did, or it could be a tea ceremony, but that is the sort of high point if you were going to have a special birthday or something like that.
Okay.
You would be very.
You're not getting one for your birthday then.
Well,
No.
tea ceremony.
Yeah, unless
Well,
you're
you could have a tea ceremony, or
I don't really drink tea, do I?
no, neither do I.
Have a Diet Coke ceremony.
okay. Right. Okay. So back to our trip around Japan.
No, we've been there. We couldn't go up to the top of Mount Fuji because of the fog. But we did see the lady and we did
kaijus.
try the soup and whatever. I don't know if it's soju. Anyway, we went back to Tokyo. While we'd been gone in Kyoto, there was a slight earthquake.
Ooh.
But
Did you feel it?
not really, but we got told when we got back there was just tremors going on. But so we were quite lucky because there's quite a lot of earthquakes and things going on.
You're lucky you missed it.
Yes, we're lucky we missed it. But we had a little bit of free time, so we've got to find a market. So we eventually managed to get through to somebody who could speak English and ask where there was a market, and we found our way to the market, and we're up and down and all of a sudden I saw
You saw? What did you see?
Godzilla!
Yay!
There was only one on the stall. I grabbed it. Another hand came down on top of me, and I wouldn't let go.
All right.
And I won.
Sounds like a struggle.
It was a
ensued.
bit of a struggle. This
Of
lady,
Titanic proportions.
this lady was trying to pull it, and I'm pulling it, and I won.
Yay.
And
Excellent.
Zak has still got the original.
Shall we reveal item number one?
Oh yes.
Here he is.
There we are. This is the original Godzilla. This is my first probably Godzilla figure
That June had
from
to.
Japan.
That June
Yeah.
had to actually have a
I
wrestling match.
would not leave go.
Can we recreate the scene? How was it placed on the shelf?
Where did you
Well,
grab
it
it?
was on this, and I grabbed him off the back.
And
Oh,
there was a
somebody
tug of
got the-
war.
Good grip.
And
Good
then-
grip.
oh,
I would not leave
Wow.
go.
There you go.
My grandson wants Godzilla.
Round of applause.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you
it.
very much. 20 years ago.
The other
and you got-
lady.
you got the which Godzilla is this?
This is from Godzilla Final Wars.
Oh, I know.
So
Well,
this is
it was the
film
only
came
one
out in
they've
2004.
There was
2004.
only one left, but I got Godzilla. I would not leave go.
You got him. He can stay.
He can stay in the podcast.
There you
He
go.
can
Let's put him
stay.
down
Let's put
there.
him there.
So,
There you go. Yeah.
He can just.
Well
do
done, June. So
yeah,
you managed to
we got Godzilla. It was
wrestle
the
us.
only one there. He was rather prickly.
rather
Yes.
prickly. It's his dorsal fins. Yes, but you got him. So there was a epic battle went on.
Yeah, but I won.
Let's mention that we have done several Godzilla podcasts by this point in time. So if you haven't listened to those, go do that.
There you go.
But I had promised Julia. We had done a bit of shopping. I've mentioned that there are non-smoking roads and all sorts of different things. Lots of different things to see. But I did promise Julia we would have a proper Japanese meal.
Okay.
Ah.
So, not the night before we left, because I thought that's a bit much if we were going to try and drink some sake. So it was the night before before we left.
Okay.
And we'd been round and looked at the shops, and Julia had bought one or two things for her boyfriend for the time, and one thing and another. I said, would you like to go to the restaurant tonight? So I had to ring up and make a booking, and we looked at the menu, and that was very confusing, but it did say Japanese feast. I'm looking at my money to see how much we'd got left, and so I ordered the feast.
Feast.
The
The
feast.
feast. I honestly don't remember how many courses we had. They kept bowing and smiling, and another course would come out. And then we think we loosened our skirts, and another course would come.
Like what was the portion size like on this?
A decent sized one. And I thought, well, they must be finished soon. And they're all smiling and bowing, and another course comes. It did eventually sort of.
How many did you get through? It sounds like something that what's his name again?
Oh,
Mr. Chestnut.
Chestnut would have
Well,
enjoyed.
Joey
There
Jaws
must-
Chestnut.
There must have been about 7 or 8 courses at
Wow.
least. And we got our teapot full of sake, because that's served warm. In
Because
the
that's
end,
in a metal teapot.
no, it was in a china teapot.
Oh, was it China?
Yeah, get it right.
Oh, normally,
Get it right.
whenever
So
I've
in the
been
end, we
to
said, can we take it upstairs?
Japanese
So we
restaurant.
took it upstairs with us to our room,
Yep.
so we could finish it up there. We were a bit staggery. And I think we did a bit more touring around Tokyo the next day, but we were so full up. You just didn't know what was coming, because you can't read Japanese. You know, it's not like on
So
plastic plates.
Could you kind of guess what it was you were being served?
Well, you could.
Did you go, oh, well, this is obviously squid, this is fish.
Well, yeah, you could find out what it was, or somebody might tell you
If you
if
could
you
read
asked them.
Japanese.
But you couldn't read it on the menu. It just said something rather.
Maybe it was based upon this formality, like you'd have to leave a piece on your plate, and if you didn't, then they'd bring you more.
Oh, no, I don't
That's
know.
it. You leave a bit to say, I can't eat it.
I'm done.
I'm
No,
done.
they just kept bowing and smiling
That would
and
be
bringing
really
it out the next
that'd be
one.
hilarious to find out that was the case.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't.
Right, I'm going to clear this one, and that's the last one I can eat.
But
Because you don't want to offend anyone.
By not eating it.
Yeah.
Only to find out that
I think
if you
we
leave
ate
some,
most of it.
That's got to be a sketch in something.
Yeah, it has to
It
be,
surely
yeah.
has to be.
But I promised her a proper Japanese meal.
It does. On reflection, though, it does make travel different these days, because literally these days you can point your phone at the menu in Japanese, and your phone will automatically translate it.
Yeah.
You know?
20 years ago was I mean, he must have been between 3 and 4.
Yeah, so it'd be just over.
And
20
he's going to be
years, yeah.
26.
I think I said 30 years, but yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be 20 years. 20.
So, but anyway, we were completely sated, and we did take the sake upstairs, and I think we just had a look.
Had a party.
And we
Can't remember the rest of it.
Can't remember.
can't remember
Too
the
much
rest of
sake.
But-
How big was this teapot?
No, we had a bit more time.
I
to
kept
look-
coming and
look
filling
at-
it up.
Yeah,
And then we had to come home.
Oh right.
Yeah.
And a direct flight back again.
Yes.
So overall, how would you rate your Japanese experience? Is it the only? I know you've been to China several times, but this is the one and only time you've been to Japan.
It was the only time. It was so fast and furious. I mean, the one day that we actually managed to get hold of Godzilla and thing, you could actually breathe. You didn't have to hurry.
Sticky rice.
No, I
That's
was
stuck with you,
because
hasn't it?
I hadn't had my hips done then.
Technically, yeah. The sticky rice is stuck.
Yes, it's stuck. I mean, I hadn't had my hips replaced by then.
But you needed to have them done afterwards.
I mean,
It was the G-force on the
Yes,
rocket
was
train, bullet train.
It was at that moment.
I've seen so many things.
Ah, my hips!
I mean, I've been to New Zealand, and you see all the Chinese people coming there, and a man running around with the camera, and they said they haven't got time to really look at all the things they were looking at in New Zealand.
Right.
But when they get home, they can buy a video
Of their
to
holidays.
see where they.
I can see where they've been.
Yeah.
Because they're going so fast they don't get the chance.
Well, I don't think they'd got videos when I was in Japan, but I mean, we were doing everything so fast. Like, get off the coach, go down the road, go in the thing, go in the lift,
So-
have your sushi, and come back again.
For somebody who's listening to this podcast and thinking about travelling to Japan, would you rate it?
Nowadays, you can have a long holiday, longer than. Mind you, it might cost you £4,000 or £5,000.
yeah. Okay, but would you recommend going?
Oh, it's wonderful to see, especially we caught the end of the cherry blossom, so that was lovely, and people were dressed up. But it was going too fast.
It was a bit of a whirlwind trip.
It was a whirlwind trip. Julia enjoyed it.
Well,
our
that was the
camera
thing
went.
that you said it was a taster holiday when it started.
was more of a taster holiday. It was how it was advertised. But
So if you had the chance, would you go back?
I can't afford it.
No. If you had the chance, would you go back?
Yes, if it was a longer holiday.
Where you could take a little bit
Well,
a slower pace.
so I'm used to going for a 3-week holiday.
Yes, that's the thing. When you go on a 3-week holiday, you have time to
It's
really
time
sort of
to
get
do
into those
things.
adventures, like the adventures you've had doing other trips.
Yeah.
You can see that 3 weeks.
as opposed to this whistle-stop tour.
Yeah. No, I've never had to move so fast, and with my arthritis, it was really a little bit OTT.
But you would recommend to go
I would recommend.
if somebody has an opportunity to go to Japan.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if you can go in cherry blossom time. But
And
well, of course,
Personally,
over the 20 years,
I
it's
don't-
gone
I
up
don't-
about £4,000.
I don't really like. I don't know. It'd be interesting to go there, but I would like to at least stay a day in the Godzilla hotel.
Yeah.
Yes,
That would be awesome. I would find that amazing.
I think there's a lot of places in Japan, whether they're
I've
all in
just had
Tokyo or not, I
new
don't know.
brochures come through. For I won't say who, but it's going all around the world. Some of them are £14,000-15,000 for.
Yeah, people can spend that just to go on a 2-week cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I'm very pleased that I have been to these places all around the world.
And sharing your experiences
Yes.
with our avid listeners.
Yes.
Right, now, I think that this leaves us with a good way of rounding off this particular podcast. And that is with
Wisdom of the Week.
and we always I try to kind of find something that is sort of fits in with a theme.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
you do.
And we're traveling to Japan. This is kind of to do with traveling. Okay?
That would make sense.
So, here's the wisdom of the week.
Bestow your wisdom.
Bestow the wisdom. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbour, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream and discover. And that was a quote from Mark Twain.
Who's Mark Twain?
He wrote all sorts
It's a
of
book.
books.
And
In
now you know
America.
show.
Yeah, wasn't he the one who wrote Tom Sawyer?
Yes.
Yes.
And different things.
Yes, Mark Twain.
I mean, yeah.
Up the
Look it up, Zak.
Mississippi and whatever.
Yeah, so there you go. That rounds off our adventures to Japan with
Well,
Indiana
this is it.
Jones.
Since I was 11, I used to read all the books in the library that I could about different places. I wanted to go to Tibet. People have said to me, "You'll never get to Tibet." I've been to
Yes.
Tibet.
Did we do Tibet?
Yes.
Yes, we've done Tibet. So what have we
I've
got?
been to China 4 times.
So what have we got to look forward to when you
Well,
come back and visit us again?
who knows? Mostly I've toured around a lot of Scotland and around. But I'm going to be 89 should I live that long.
Yes.
And I've got 2 replacement hips. I've only got 1 kidney working.
But you're still going.
I'm
You're still cracking.
I'm still I'm going to Torquay in September,
Woohoo!
and
Good old
then I
Torquay.
think we're going to. Is it Devon or Cornwall with you?
Yes, we're
At
going
the
down.
end
We're
of
going
September.
down to Cornwall in
Yeah.
September. Yeah.
So-
So we're still up for
We're
travel.
Still
We're
adventuring.
still going, but I
And
don't
we
think I
are-
dare go on my own.
And you did say
well, I
you,
am going on my own to Torquay.
and you did say you wanted to go on a trip in our Canadian canoe.
Oh yes,
So if we can get your hips to get in the canoe,
yeah.
then we'll,
Canoeing podcast.
I used
Canadian
to go
canoe
canoeing
beer.
when we used to go on the to Brightlingsea years ago when you were all little.
yeah. So there you go. Oh,
So, yes.
brilliant!
So
Thank
I
you.
haven't been in the canoe yet, and I don't. I mean, I'd love to go to the Galapagos, but that's out of my pocket, and I don't think I dare go on my own. 'Cause
Well, I'll tell you what. If we win the lottery,
if we win the lottery,
We'll go there.
we'll go to
who
the
knows what we
The
might
world, as they say, will be
It'd
your
be-
oyster.
do. Oh, there you go.
Oysters actually taste quite nice.
Oh,
I like
oysters.
oysters. That's why
Some
I'm
people
going
say
to
they-
Torquay and I'm going to Brixham, and usually I can get at least half a dozen oysters, and we're going to
Yeah, a
Brixham.
lot of people say they just taste like snot, but I like them.
I like them.
Doesn't mean I like.
You haven't
snot.
tried snot and thought it was nice, honestly.
Anyway, there we
The
go.
first oysters I had, we went on holiday to Norfolk, and I had some oysters, and then I felt extremely sick now. But I did find out I was pregnant after
Oh,
that.
right, okay.
That was why.
The oysters
I-
got you pregnant.
No, they didn't. But I,
No
They
wonder.
did say they were an aphrodisiac.
Well,
I mean,
No
what's
wonder
going
you
on?
like swimming.
no,
Is it?
but I was already pregnant, so but that's why I thought it was morning sickness. But if we thought it was the oysters, but it
It's the
wasn't.
oysters.
But I do like them. So Brixham is my
Oyster Central.
oyster central,
Okay.
and we've got a trip to
There
Brixham.
you go. See, we're learning more.
Yes.
When you finished, we think we finished with Japan. Now we're learning about other things.
Yes,
Oysters.
just because
Yeah.
that's where the conversation has gone.
I have to go
That's
to
what happens
Brixham
on the Now We Know
because
show.
So if you need
I know where they sell
good
nice,
oysters,
the good oysters.
go to Brixham.
Yeah,
There we
and due to the shutdown with,
The pandemic?
the pandemic, my holiday has been cancelled 3 times. So now I'm going in September.
And you're going to get those oysters.
I'm going to get my oysters.
Mission Oyster.
Mission
Stay
Oyster.
tuned for that.
Yes.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of topics or activities you'd like to listen to in future episodes.
Go to Japan if you like it.
Yay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a big kaiju goodbye from Buzz.
That's a titanic goodbye from Zak.
And it's a lovely goodbye from me.
And
Bye,
a
everybody.
mega Godzilla goodbye from Godzilla.
All the Godzillas. that's
Yeah. Watch Godzilla movies, they're awesome.
it. And go to Japan. Goodbye.
You can find the Now We Know Show podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Keep up to date with everything ZWP on Facebook and Instagram, or visit the Zak Wylde Productions website at www.zakwyldeproductions.com. And remember to join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access content and exclusive episodes.